Good morning. Welcome to all the dignitaries and participants. I, CA Bhavi Chakkar, on behalf of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast on Audit Reimagined AI Assisted Assurance powered by digital, analytical, and ethical skills. This is a very important topic. As you all know, that audit is undergoing a profound transformation. As a business is becoming increasingly digital and data driven, traditional audit approaches are being reimagined through integration of artificial intelligence, advanced analytics, and continuous auditing tools. Today, webcast brings together these three critical dimensions of technology, human intelligence, and ethics to explore how auditors can adapt, upskill, and lead to its evolving assurance landscape. It's about reimagining audit not just as a function, but as a future ready profession that continuously inspire confidence and trust in this rapidly changing environment. And for this important topic, we have today the most versatile speaker as a resource person, CA Vivek Agrawal ji. I welcome you, sir, on today's webcast. CA Vivek Agrawal ji is a fellow chartered accountant and company secretary with a specialized credentials including IFRS, ACCA UK, DISA, forensic auditor, and NDAS certifications, along with an executive course in business analytics from IIM Calcutta. As a partner accounting, advisory, assurance, and forensic at SK Agrawal and Company LLP, he leads the NDAS forensic audit and assurance verticals driven with integration of AI, data analytics, and automation into financial reporting, audit processes, and forensic reviews. He has successfully implemented NDAS across multiple industries and advises on complex accounting matters, ERP analytics, and SOP driven processes improvements. A national speaker with 1,000 plus sessions, Vivek sir has trained officers from CAG, NTPC, NHPC, CBDT, SAIL, and various government departments. He has served as past president of ACAE and has contributed significantly as a special invitee or a co-opted member on ICAI's keyboards, including sustainability, accounting standards, and auditing and assurance. He has also played a core role in drafting forensic auditing standards, the ORA course, and the audit quality maturity model. A peer reviewer, technical reviewer, and an active member of prominent study circles, his vision is to modernize the accounting and assurance profession through AI driven precision, transparency, and strategic value. We have a very versatile speaker on board today. Sir, welcome you and over to you for the session.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Bhaviji. And thanks to the committee for giving me this opportunity. I'll just start with sharing my screen. Kindly confirm that screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot. So, friends, first of all, good afternoon. Today, we are here to talk about a topic which is very close to me, how audit as a profession is changing. So, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. And we are here to reimagine audit, AI powered assurance driven by digital, analytical, and ethical skills. Today's session is not about tools, it is not about coding. This session is about how assurance itself is changing and why the role of a chartered accountant becomes more critical, not less, in an AI driven world. We will talk about audit judgment, intent, ethics, and how AI only supports, never replaces this because the judgment is there with the auditor. And let's begin the topic with a very important slide, which I keep on saying, the new economy of assurance. What is the new economy of assurance, Vivek? I keep on saying that if data is the new oil, then code is the new currency, and together they form the new economy. Every economy runs on a core asset. Earlier it was land, then capital, then information. Today, data is the raw material and code is what extracts value from it. Audit exists inside this new economy. If we audit data without understanding how value is extracted from it, we risk becoming irrelevant. And that is the whole concept behind which this session is being built today. And when we talk about the data, new oil, and the code, and how audit is being reimagined, let's understand with a small story. A few years ago, an auditor was appointed to audit a large manufacturing company. The audit was conducted perfectly. It was the perfect audit. And the samples were selected properly, the vouchers were checked, the controls were checked, the IFC internal financial control regarding material mistreatment was checked, and management explanations were documented. A clean audit report was issued. The audit was conducted perfectly according to the standard procedures which are laid down. But 6 months later, a major fraud surfaced. The company faced significant losses, and the clean report was suddenly under scrutiny. What went wrong? And mind you, friends, in today's ecosystem, if anything goes wrong, it is the auditor who is first looked up to. And it is the auditor who has to give the first answer. So when the auditor was questioned, his response was simple and honest. The fraud transactions were not in my sample. And he was technically correct. Maybe practically he failed. But when the auditor was questioned, his response was simple. The fraud transactions were not in my sample. And I did sampling as required under standards in audit. And I followed the required law. Technically, he was sound. Technically, he was correct. But practically, there may be a failure because the regulators nowadays they don't look about sampling or how you have done your audit. He or she thinks that if a company fails, it is the auditor who is responsible. But here is the uncomfortable truth. The fraud was hiding in a single transaction. It was hiding in a pattern. The fraud was not hiding in a single transaction, it was hiding in the pattern. Each transaction taken individually looked perfect normal, but together they told a story that the checklist way of doing audit missed. Each transaction had to be checked and it was checked according to the sample, but there was a pattern. There was a data analytics which was required, which was not there. The auditor had checked numbers. The fraudster exploited the behavior. So in today's world, checking numbers, the auditor keeps on checking the number, the maths which match up. But the fraudster exploits the behavior. And this is the gap we must close. And that is the shift required in audit. How we audit, how we should look for patterns, how we should do data analytics. So today's session is all about this exact shift from checking numbers to understanding the behavior behind the numbers. And that is why we are talking about how to reimagine audit, how audit is reimagined in today's ecosystem. And AI powered assurance driven by digital, analytical, and ethical skills is what is required. Before that, let's see this video. Please confirm whether
What I
audio
want to
is there.
know is what is one thing which AI can't copy from humans? Which I would like to know that. What kind of a thing would it be that humans can do but AI can't?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Actually, it's an excellent question, and in fact, this is probably the single most vital question for now.
right.
Which is, what are all the things that AI can do? What can it do? It turns out that as we speak, AI has no possibility of doing all of what we do. However, depending on the jobs that we do, sometimes it could do 20% of our jobs, 20% of our work, 1,000 times better. For some people, it might be able to do 50% of their job, 1,000 times better. But in no job can they do all of it. And so this is the great observation. Because of that, every one of us should apply AI to automate, to become an assistant to help us with that either 20%, 40%, or 50%. People ask me, Jensen, is AI going to take your job? And I tell them, absolutely not. The person who uses AI to automate that 20% or 50% is going to take your job. And so that's right. That's right. And so the most important thing for us right now is to build amazing AIs, build safe AIs. That's good engineering discipline, good engineering business, good engineering process, methodologies, technologies, all come together so that we can build safe AIs. It's like building a safe airplane. The automation systems with diversity and redundancy, all of the backup systems makes it possible for air travel, the airplane to be safe, and air travel to be safe. The same ideas will apply to artificial intelligence. I think that long term, I'm really hoping that all of us have our own AI, co-pilots and AI partners that are with us all the time, remembering things, helping us.
That'd be a safe world.
That would be a wonderful world. That would be a wonderful world.
No, it won't be like something like what they show in Hollywood films.
No.
That AI is taking over humans.
No, because along the way, amazing engineers like all the people in this audience.
Right.
You're talking to basically engineers, a whole bunch of computer scientists. Right. It is our fundamental mission to enable.
So, it is the time to adapt the change, and AI will not take over people, but person who uses AI will be more relevant than those people who are not using AI. And with this, we go to our next slide. Why this the future of audit team? Presently, our audit teams looks like something this. There's a partner, there's a manager, there is a tax expert, maybe GST income tax, and there are 3 or 4 staffs which go for a medium size of audit assignment. But moving forward, the audit team has to change. There has to be something called vibe coder. There has to be audit data center expert. There has to be data analytics expert. There has to be cyber security expert. And all this is required because the data is coming like anything. Just think 20 years back of that Kirana store in our locality. We used to have all the vouchers physically. The number of transactions were limited. But suppose you go to do audit of any e-commerce or the dark houses or dark warehouses or quick commerce websites audit, and the number of transactions which are there. Whether the same audit of a 4 staff manager and audit partner will suffice, we require someone who can do vibe coding and create a Python software to analyze the sales register. We require data analytics expert to understand and read that data and give me an output of the behavioral change, which we just discussed in our story. We require audit data center expert who will take out the raw data. It's not like a simple tally data where you can take a dump. We require cyber security expert, whether any manhandling has happened with the data, any data integrity issues are there. So that will be the future audit team. And that is why today's session become more relevant, because why we have to reimagine audit? We have to reimagine audit due to exponential data which has grown like anything. Clients generate more data in a week than we used to audit in a year. The fee pressure, efficiency is no longer optional. It is survival to it for firms. Earlier, for a small company, we used to take months for completing the audit. Now, the number of days of our limited review is 45 days where you have to do the quarterly review, or 2 months where you have to complete your yearly audit. And the amount of data is humongous. The risk mitigation, sampling is a blind spot in a world of high velocity fraud. Because when you do 5% of the sampling, you leave 95% of the areas unaudited where the blind spots are lying. So the data growth, exponential increase in the transaction volumes, making manual checking impossible. Think of any e-commerce or quick commerce. Sampling blind spot, traditional 5%, 10% sampling, leaving huge gap for fraud to hide. And there's a regulator demand, expectation for true assurance, not just compliant paperwork. Because the regulator are no longer satisfied with we followed the checklist. They want real assurance. This is not the future pressure, it is the present pressure which is there amongst us. So, the discomforting question which is there, if AI audits 100% of the transaction, what is the auditor's role? If AI will do the audit, what will be our role? Where will we fit in the ecosystem? This question makes many professionals uncomfortable. And as already shown in the video, that AI will not replace us. It is people who use AI will replace people who are not using AI. If a machine can check every transaction, then what do we do as an auditor? Are we required? These are the questions which looms around our mind. The answer lies in understanding that audit is not about checking. It is more about judgment, understanding the output generated by the AI, decoding the final infographics which is generated from the AI. The question will anchor today's entire session, how we as a chartered accountant has to reimagine the audit from data analytics way, from AI, and so on. So traditional audit was all about manual ticking and checking. Then there was something called risk-based audit, focused on material areas. Then there came something called analytics, data-driven insights, giving you a understanding of the data. Now we are talking about AI-powered continuous assurance. So the shift is from errors to behavior, as we shown in our story, that there was an error, but we don't have to check for error. We don't have to do transaction audits. We have to shift from errors to behavior. We have to move from compliance to getting the confidence of the stakeholders. So traditional audit focused on errors. Modern audit must focus on behavior. Compliance tells us rules were followed. Confidence tells stakeholders risk is understood. What can go wrong has been known. So AI allows the shift, but only if auditor use it correctly. If you are imbibing AI in your audit, then only it can happen. So Vivek, uh, how is it happening? Because how it has changed, how why things are so drastically changing. In 1990s, we used to do audit with physical ledgers, those long registers and vouchers. Thereafter, it came an era of ERP era, the Tally, SAP, and Excel. Then 2024 happened, and it was about LLM, generative AI, and LLM assistant. 2026 today, we talk about autonomous agents and real-time audit using AI agents. And future 2030, it will be all about what we are discussing today. It will be all about what has to be done and what has to be done fast. So evolution of audit happened from, the scope of traditional audit, sample-based, 5%, and AI assistant audit, full population. The focus from watching and compliance to anomalies and patterns. The timing. Earlier audit was all about post-mortem. Annual audit once in a year, person used to go and check and say, sir, in the month of April, you didn't deduct this TDS. So in the month of May, the GST was not paid on time. So you missed to pay a GST in the month of May. But now it's all about continuous, near real-time audit, flash reports, real-time reporting. So the role of CA from data processor to strategic risk analyst, understanding the exceptions which are there in the report and decoding the exception. So that is how audit has evolved from risk-based analytics to AI-powered. Audit evaluation has always followed business complexity. AI powered assurance is not a replacement, it is the next logical step. The focus is no longer did this transaction exist, it is about does this pattern make sense? Is this entry at the night 11:45 p.m. is correct or incorrect? That is all about what we want to talk. So our core skill set, digital skills, analytical skills, and ethical skills. The digital skill is about navigating the AI toolkit, the tool belt, the ecosystem, the integration, and the prompt engineering mastery. Analytical skills, interpreting complex visualization and finding the needle in the data haystack. When we talk about ethical skills, it's all about managing hallucination, data privacy, and exercising professional skepticism. The skepticism of a profession will stay with the profession. It cannot be imbibed in near future in the AI. The biasness, the understanding of the ecosystem cannot be 100% corrected in the AI system as of now. So, as we all operate in 100% digital environment, therefore, the manual sampling has to go away. Because as I said, fraud does not sit in the sample. It is hidden in the 90% we don't check. And we say the audits are excellent at detecting mathematical error and compliance failure, but they often miss the intent, the why behind the transaction. Was the error accidental or deliberate? Is the control falling or being overridden? Just take a small example. A company is there who has bought certain items and taken the GST input. If you put that data in a system, the system will say, yeah, the invoice is genuine, the GRN had happened, the goods came in, and the input was taken. But where were these goods used as a fixed asset? Whether any actual asset addition happened at the factory floor, whether the capitalization is correct, whether availing the GST input for those items which came as a plant and machinery is correct, whether the plant and machinery is operational now, if it is operational, how it is moving, because all these judgments the AI will not be able to give as at the present scenario. And if it gives also, the judgment has to be attached by a chartered accountant or by a professional for that matter. So audits are excellent at detecting mathematical error and compliance failures, but they often miss the intent of why behind the transaction. The why will be given by the AI, supported by the skepticism of an auditor. So we also know that there is a reality check. There is a lot of discussion happening about burnout, work-life balance, because high volume of mundane tasks are killing morale. Talent shortage is there. New ACAs want tech-enabled roles. They don't want to go and sit in a real estate property and do the checking of the RO bills, which are humongous, running in hundreds of pages. They don't want to do the uh, casting, which we used to do long time back, the casting and the checking of the numbers on the face of the balance sheet, the totaling and the casting. So audit quality expectations from regulators are also rising, and the bar on documentation is very high. How you are keeping a trail, the chain of custody of the information which has been collected by you. Therefore, as I said, we operate in a 100% digital environment, but still rely on manual sampling. Fraud does not sit on the tip of this iceberg. It's hidden in the 90% which we don't check. So we still rely on the 5% sampling and we believe that it is the 100% representation of the population given to us. We have to change over here. We have to go for 100% review. And how it will happen, we'll discuss in forwarding slides in the slides to forward. And it's no more about post-mortem. Issues are often detected months after the damage is done. Traditional audit is more of a post-mortem as of now. It offers like predictive value to the business stakeholders. So traditional audit is done, say, every after 3 months, or for a smaller organization after 1 year. We detect issues months after the damage is done. That is, suppose a TDS was not paid in the month of April, May, June, and we are discussing that not in the month of April, May, June next year, but in the month of August, July, August, September. Does it make sense? So today's business are expecting that you give me predictive signals. You tell me where I have gone wrong, how to make sure that in future the TDS deduction is not missed. You give me controls. You talk about process. You talk about system. So we don't want a historical comfort. They all want predictive signals. They want early warning signals. So AI helps convert audit from a more post-mortem to early warning signals. And along with this, the reliance on the management, that is over-reliance. Whatever is explained by the management is not an evidence. So accepting verbal confirmation without data backing is a blunder which many of the auditors do. And it has lots of bias risk that the company is in profit. Regularly, there is the profit. The management always gives whatever is asked for. So we have a perception about the management which is against the skepticism which is required in audit. The management presents data in most favorable light. They know that Vivek will do only 5% of the sampling. So we'll make sure that the issues are not coming in that 5% sample. We will try to understand how the sampling is done. Thereafter, we'll make sure that we spread the frauds in such a way that the sampling will not be able to collect those data. So in today's ecosystem, especially in India, the biggest audit risk is over trust, which the auditors does for the management. The over trust of the auditor for the management. And why is this a biggest risk? Because we detect verbal explanations without data backing creates bias risk. Collusion cannot be detected by manual checks alone, and AI will allow auditors to independently validate management narratives. Whatever management is saying, how to evaluate those, how to make sure or check the verbal confirmations given by the management. That can be checked by AI-based data review. That can be checked by AI-based data review. So when we say audit reimagine, we are talking about moving from what happened to why is this happening. This is the pivot of this session. It is not about AI-based audit, is not about checking fast. Audit reimagine is not about quick audit or automation in audit. It is about asking better questions. Behavior repeats, error don't. So AI helps us to see the repetition in the behavior which is there. Because error can be checked, but behavior patterns can only be uh, confirmed from data analytics, from reviewing the patterns, and all this pattern review or data analytics cannot happen manually. It has to be system AI backed. So as we were saying, the traditional model is all about year-end focused. So it provides comfort at a point of time, and reimagine audit provides comfort over pattern over time, continuous monitoring. Uh, this is the fundamental shift in assurance philosophy. That it should not be more about year-end focus, it should be about continuous monitoring. It should not be static, it should be dynamic. It should not be checklist comfort, it should be behavioral assurance. It should not be sample based testing, it should be 100% population analysis. So, as I was saying, AI is not only about automation. This is the misconception that AI is just about completing the audit fast. AI is about augmentation. It acts as a force multiplier for auditor judgment. It surfaces pattern that no human eye could detect across millions of rows of data. To give me a pattern, to give me a scatter plot, to give me a check of the Benford's law, to give me a relative pattern check, all that can be done with AI and automation. If we say, Vivek, you are saying to use AI and it means automation. I don't have large clients, I have only small clients. So means AI is not for me. So AI is for everyone. Because still, if you are doing 100% check also for a small client, the pattern understanding, the concept behind how to recognize the pattern, how to give me exceptions, that can be done by AI for small companies also. This is one of the important pillar of concept. Because many people say AI is all about automation. But we have to be crystal clear. It is all about augmentation. It gives us time to understand the data completely. It gives us pattern and behavioral understanding from which we can take our audit forward. And it is more about 100% visibility. No more blind spots. We can check the entire GL, all the subledger, full transaction history can be checked with 100% visibility using AI. So when we say about entire GL, Vivek, how will that happen? Just take the full dump of the GL and create a basic uh, JE testing using simple codes like HTML or Python language, and you can have it. I'll give you a demo of that also in due course of this session. So the AI role is about flagging the anomalies and how the human in the loop will work. The auditor will evaluate the context in which the anomalies had happened. AI will give us the cause of risk probability, and the human in the loop will investigate the why factor behind it. The AI can give us to prioritize high risk item out of say 100 ledgers are there, GLs are there. The AI can say the basic Python analytical review software can say that out of this 100 ledgers, this general ledgers, this 6 general ledgers doesn't have the pattern. It has 20% deviation from other ledgers. To kindly check this GLs first. AI can give you the score rating in that. So prioritizing the high risk item, and then the auditor explains the finding. Why there was bigger deviation in those 5 ledgers or 6 ledgers. So AI processes at a massive scale. And after processing whatever the output has come, the auditor's role is to give a conclusion. The auditor forms the conclusion from those massive scale processing which was done by AI. So, in the ecosystem of audit reimagine, the human in the loop is very important. And with this, we have also tried to explain that the AI will be there. AI will help us to augment and not to automate or replace us. The AI will give the flags and priorities, uh, what to prioritize, and the auditor will evaluate the context, investigate the anomalies, applies professional judgment. So the final responsibility never ever shifts from the auditor. The final responsibility will always be with the auditor and not the AI. So, where AI fits in audit, as I said, journal entries where we do completion testing, like how to check it. Like you can have a simple AI tool created from vibe coding, whereby you give a sample of a journal entry that the this is the sample of the journal entries. Kindly check number one, which are the entries which are done on holidays and late at night. Number two, which are the journal entries done with the narration having theft, stolen, penalty, fraud, etc. Out of 10,000, 20,000, 10 lakh, 20 lakh line item, the basic Python tool will give you that these are the 20 entries having written fraud in the narration, having written penalty in the narration, having written as per MD's approval, having the text as per CFO's approval, and so on and so forth. Then you can see the username analysis, whereby you have, say, 300 users passing entry across the factory of a large organization with 50 lakh data entry. And those 300 users, there were 5 users who has passed only 12 entries during the year, meaning those users has passed only those entries which was either requiring higher authority as per authorization metrics or was supposed to be passed only by the CFO of the company or the senior KMP. So what happens? This 12 entries which was passed by the CFO, you get a complete text and the entries itself from the pool of say 20 lakh line item. Thereafter, how many entries has happened in say stock valuation or stock register? How many entries has happened in revenue, in purchase, or in production GLs, which was manual? Because revenue GL and production GL most of the time has system generated entries. So any manual entries are there? If yes, give me from those 50,000 or 1 lakh line items, and I am required to check that. So this is how journal entries can be checked in detail in the ecosystem of the AI and having 100% analytics done in that. Then we have revenue. In revenue, as I was saying, negative entries, manual entries. More on that, apart from manual entries, any entry being done on 31st night at 11:50 p.m. of rounding figure, and next year on 1st April, those being reversed just to jack up the sales or to meet the targets of the investors. All those can be captured by AI by thousands of entries. Not only that, I remember in one of the audit where we went, we found out of 80,000 sales, there were 8 sales from 8 dispatches from factory A in West Bengal and factory B in Orissa on the same day, having same number of the vehicle. Then it came to a light that these sales were actually done by the sales department as they were supposed to meet the target of sending these items on 31st. And if they show that I have sent this item on 1st of April, they will be penalized by the PSU. So try to understand, out of 80,000 line items, having only 8 sample of vehicle number, same vehicle number at 2 locations on the same day. That was the basic testing done by us. So that is the depth in which we can do audit supported by the AI. And with vibe coding, where you don't have to know coding and you can create your own tools to run this AI supported audits which are there. Similarly, understanding the expense, finding a pattern in the expense. Similarly, payroll and controls, checking the controls which are there, checking the username as we were saying, checking the punctuation metrics, the entries done, whether a person having a authorization of doing approving expense of 5 lakh only, anything above 5 lakh, he has to go to the next level. So he has done entries of 4,90,000 of several times just to make sure that it is within the approval limit. So all this can be supported by the AI ecosystem, which helps us in doing the audit. As so, beyond random sampling, AI scans 100% of the general entry to find behavior marker and timing entries posted on weekdays or holidays, user behavior entries by unauthorized users, values, round numbers, or just below approval limits, flow, frequent reversal. So, general entries are the most manipulated areas in accounts. AI looks at timing, users, values, reversal, not just amount. This shifts audit focus from materiality to intent to behavior. That is how we can imbibe AI in checking the journal entry and do a basic journal entry analytics. So, starting with the first case study of income smoothing, which we have discussed, the scenario: a client with large manufacturing company, data volume of 1.8 million GL line items. The history of the client was clean audit report for past 5 years. The AI tool was deployed to run a time of post analysis, that is time by sale analysis, you can say. And it was noted that 11:58 p.m. on the last day of the year, a cluster of 124 entries were posted between 11:55 to 11:59 p.m. on the last day of each month. So same user ID, perfectly rounded figures like 50,000, 50,000, $50,000, all were reversed on the first of the next month. So this is income smoothing detected. The CFO was manipulating the monthly profile profits to show stable growth. Sampling missed this for 5 years. AI surfaced the time anomaly instantly. And auditor judgment confirmed the intent when auditor came to know about it, and he deep dived into all these figures. His judgment confirmed that the intent was about smoothing the income which is there. So revenue manipulation rarely fails document check, but the AI flagged abnormal customer behavior, linked the invoices, and how it has been getting reversed. So this is one of the classical case whereby AI actually becomes the audit enabler in the reimagined audit ecosystem. When you move to next case, again a pattern modeling, that is detecting uncharacteristic buying spikes, that is when revenue manipulating rarely fails. The document check, AI flagged abnormal customer behavior and linked the invoices generated in the month of March and the credit notes issued in the month of April. This we do in sampling physically when we are doing audit, that if at the year end any bill has been booked, what are the credit notes issued in the month of April, May, June? Check whether those were genuine sales in the month of April, in the month of March. So the pattern modeling happens, the customer behavior and the period and anomalies, all this helps to understand how revenue is jacked up. Although in the ecosystem of Index 115, we check this also to understand whether actual control was transferred or not, or sales was is supposed to be booked or reversed. So China stuffing, the as I said, significant year-end sales spike, the anomaly high volume of credit sales to repeat distributors who had not cleared previous balances. So the finding was sales were booked to meet the targets, good return in April. So AI linked sales invoice dates in March to the credit notes date in April, and the revenue was booked prematurely to inflate the result of that quarter. And when we talk about expense and the various ghost vendors or procurement risk, duplicate vendors, same entity created with slight name variation by fuzzy review, shared bank accounts. How many vendors are having same bank account numbers in your database? Vendors sharing bank details with employees. How many vendors having bank details mapping with the employee bank details? Split invoices, breaking one large invoice into smaller ones just to bypass the approval limit. All this can be easily written as a code in using generative AI, and simple Python softwares can be created out of all this. Mhm. Ghost vendors, a fraud often hides behind the approval threshold. So, three vendors identified with high frequency of payment, just say $100 below the manager's approval threshold. The smoking gun, AI matched the vendor address to an employee's home address. The address of the vendor and the address of the employee was matched, or the email address of the vendor, email address of the employees was matched, or the bank account detail of the vendor, bank account detail of the employees had matched. So AI connected vendor address with the employee records, and the manual audit would never make this uh, connections of thousands of vendors for large organizations. So the new auditor requires the skill stack of this. Accounting remains the foundation. The digital and analytical skill extends the reach. It gives you the to move from that 5%, 10% sampling to checking the 100% data. The analytical skill helps you to recognize the pattern. The ethical skill gives you the moral compass. The ethics ensures the trust. So you remove the ethics and technology, it becomes very dangerous. Therefore, digital, analytical, and ethical imbibing in today's audit is what is audit reimagined. That is how we reimagine the audit in today's system. So, visual pattern recognition, anomaly triage, explaining AI outputs to client. When we talk about digital analytical skills, we have to understand what is expected or what is required. The digital skills under the hood is not about coding. You don't need to be a coder, but you must speak the language of data. The ERP structure, understanding the tables and fields, extraction logic. What is BSEG report? What is BKPF report in SAP ecosystem? How is this report generated? And if you're asking for a report also, what are the columns which are there? How we should ask for a large report? It should be comma separated report. It should be having the pipes in data. That is, when you are taking a text file, it should not have a comma as a separator, but it should have a pipe as a separator, because commas and tabs are there everywhere in the report. And when you go for text to data column, the report gets very bad. So extraction logic and the audit trail, reading the system logs for evidence. All this are the basics digital skills which every auditor should have, whether he's an internal auditor, whether he's a statutory auditor, whether he or she is a forensic auditor. You have to have this basic digital skill. And you have to understand how the data flows, how reports are generated, and how anomalies arise. So this is, I can say, is the audit literacy in today's AI age. And having the analytical mindset is very important. Think like an investigator. Have that skepticism. The first class of audit about auditor skepticism. It's not just about ticking the boxes, pattern recognition, spotting the outliers in the trend, anomaly triage, deciding what matters, and then root cause analysis, digging until you find the source. Why did it happen? What went wrong? What was the intention behind this? All these are the relevant questions which, as an auditor, you have to ask. So the AI tool belt or the transformative use cases for modern firms, Notebook LM, the knowledge partner of any chartered accountant in today's system. You just upload the standards and audit or income tax act or the firm's SOP to create a closed knowledge base. Instant citation of the auditing standards, compliance mapping across documents, and zero hallucination. Let's understand what is that toolkit or what is that notebook LM for that matter. I'll take you straight to the notebook LM. Please confirm whether the screen, my browser is visible to all. Tech team, hope my browser is visible. Suppose I am learning Income Tax Act. Vivek, how to create this? Kindly explain that. You just go to create a new notebook. When you go to create a new notebook, it will ask for the source from where it has to be created. And this source can be anything. You upload the file, you give the link, you give the PDF file, you give the text file, you give the audio, you give the docs, you give the JPG, PNG, any mode. So you just upload the file or you add the sources over here by going down, giving the Google Workspace, the link of the website or the YouTube video, or simply pasting the text. So once you upload this data in your system, you have something like this there. So once I have uploaded the Income Tax Act issued by with the comparatives and all by ICAI, whatever question I will ask will come from this Income Tax Act only, like explain TDS provision in new act with earlier act. So this shows the TDS provision in the new act vis-a-vis earlier act. So it will go through the book, complete book. It will identify the key provisions and then give you the expanding the scope and depending. The best part of Notebook LM is it will only give the answer from what you have given. So the various sections are there. What is there as of now? The key features earlier act, the new act, and the compliance required to be done. Now, out of this, if I asked it, give me a slide deck for this. I have just clicked over here in slide deck. It will give me a presentation out of this discussion of TDS. It is creating the slide deck below, generating the slide deck. Moreover, when I was in Income Tax Act and I said, please explain me the concept of Income Tax Act basic.
All right, let's get right into it. India is in the middle of one of the biggest legislative shakeups we've seen in decades. We're talking about the new Income Tax Act of 2025, and this isn't just a simple update. It's a complete overhaul, designed to replace a law that's been around for over 60 years. Think of it as a total reset of the country's entire tax framework. So, that really brings us to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? Why go through all the trouble? I mean, why scrap a law that has been the bedrock of India's taxes since 1961? What was so fundamentally broken that it had to be torn down and rebuilt from scratch? Well, to really get it, you have to understand let's call it the villain of our story, the old Income Tax Act of 1961. Now, back when it was first introduced, it made sense for its time. But as the decades rolled on, it just ballooned into this incredibly complex, tangled web that was, frankly, a nightmare for almost anyone to navigate. And the problems were coming from all sides. For starters, the law was written in this really dense, old-fashioned legal language that you almost needed a special decoder ring to understand. It was stuffed with outdated rules, and its structure was so fragmented it felt like a maze.
Like
You
this, you
combine that
can
with a
have
mountain of
complete
exemptions and deductions.
like this, you can have a complete video of 6 minutes on this basic income tax understanding and the why the law was brought in. And similarly, you can have a podcast on this.
We are diving deep into the foundations of governance today, specifically how a massive economic structure gets a 6-decade overdue overhaul.
It's a huge topic.
It is. Our subject, the Income Tax Act 2025. And this
And this audio or interactive podcast, which is created out of the income tax book, can be made in any language. There are 80 languages which Notebook LM supports today. Mind you, friends, whatever I am doing now, right now, it's a free of cost software. I'm not promoting any specific AI, but just trying to give you a demo how AI is getting imbibed in our system. So it creates a uh, 16 minutes podcast to explain a concept. If you go deep dive in TDS or any specific matter of your interest and ask to create a podcast on those specific matter, it will create a podcast on that specific matter. Then I also asked to create infographics on this income tax code. This is what it has created for me. The infographics. I'll just download it so that you get a better view of it. So this is the infographics created from that how decoding in the Income Tax Act, the road to new act, a collaborative effect, bill tabled in Lok Sabha, the Income Tax Act enacted, new era begins. Similarly, you also have the basic time map, that is the tree map, whereby you can see this is the Income Tax Act, and these are basic branches of this act given in the book. So you go to heads of income, it will again give you a tree map of the heads of income, and when I'm clicking on anything, the summary which is coming on the chat box is of that. Suppose in heads of income, you want to understand what is there about salaries. Again, it will be deep diving into salaries and giving you all the inputs about the salary over here. So like this, you can understand and go through the mind map, a very important feature in Notebook LM. So all this are some of the very important areas of this Notebook LM. It has the option of audio, video, mind map, reports, flashcards, taking a quiz, infographics, slide deck, and data table. And as you can see over here, it can be create an audio overview in Hindi, Bangla, Gujarati, and all these languages are supported. Vivek, what is the benefit of this AI as such? As I was saying, it is the knowledge partner of yours. Just think, you upload all the standard knowledge and you keep on asking questions about those from this file. You upload the tax act, it will give you output from the tax act. If you upload the SOPs, it will give you answer from that SOP. There will be no hallucination, no khayali flaw, nothing out of the system, everything from that itself. So you can have an instant citation of the auditing standards in the AS, compliance mapping across document, and zero hallucination because you have made the data boundary, it will not go out of that data boundary. So friends, that was case one for you about Notebook LM. When we say about case two, it's about ChatGPT. We have been chatting with ChatGPT for now more than a year, and it is how to be used for you have CAGPT, AI in ICAI. You just go on the website and open any of the AI in ICAI book, and you first place it on your sidebar. When I say place it on your sidebar, you have ICI SRSP GPT, you have ICI Directors GPT, and all that can, when I say opening the, adding the sidebar, whenever you go and register yourself and enter with your login credentials, and you click on a link, it will open like this. You should be logged in to your ChatGPT, and then you have this drop down, and you can just say over here, add to my sidebar. Over here, it's hide from my sidebar. And I said, keep in my sidebar, it will be added to your sidebar. Not only that, you can also make my GPT over here again, which will be very, very interesting. Suppose you have this VA certificate review. What is a certificate reviewer? You just have to create a certificate, say at the section 281 of Income Tax Act. And you don't give a certificate under 281 of Income Tax Act regularly. So you can ask what are the things to be checked when issuing a certificate under section 281 of Income Tax Act. Transfer of asset nil, not prejudice recovery or existing of future tax, basic details of the SSC. And once your certificate is ready, remove the figures, remove the clientele details and your details, and just upload that certificate and ask, please check this certificate as per the requirement of ICI guidance note and checklist issued by ICA for issue of certificates. And it will give you a very good reply that these are the areas where you should strengthen, these are the areas where you should change the wordings, and it becomes a very important partner for you. So I would say over here, create a draft certificate as per ICI guidance and checklist for ABC Limited. So it is giving you what are the areas to be checked and what is our responsibility, what is the management responsibility, what are the limitations, and what is the restriction on use. And it will actually help you how to give it in a system. So these are the small areas apart from giving a reply to the mail, apart from drafting the management representations, the letters, the bespoke engagement letters, and it highlights a risk section and asks for more technical rigor, concise executive summary when you are using it. So friends, I find it very important to start using the ChatGPT as it is meant to be used. Gemini in sheets and slides, summarizing email confirmations when you're using with Gmail, generating complex formulas via natural language. Like give me a VBA code to do this in Excel, extracting data from PDF bank statements, and not only that, but giving you Google Scripts for running Google Scripts on online. So Gemini Live inside your working papers, connecting Gmails, Docs, and Drives, and helping you in the if you're in the Google Workspace. And not only this, I'll show a small example where I feel Gemini has become very important. say you have to have a training in your firm, and you have to have a training on an area like this. Hey, I have to give training to my articles on essay 200 series issued by ICAI. Kindly create slides on all the essay with the requirements requirements in 200 series and give me 200 series along with basic crux of the standards. So what it will do, it will read all the essay with the 200 series, and it will give you the basic crux which is there in the standards along with the requirements of the standard. And the creating of the slides is not important, but the next what will happen after it gives us the slide will be something which will actually give you a wow factor. So here is a comprehensive structure, title slide, and all the numbers of the standards, basic key requirements which are there. It is listing out from 210 to 20 to 30. And so on. So the slides are completed. Now, make it detailed in 25 slides and give some images as well, and give me PowerPoint presentation with a formal look and feel. Now see what I do, friends. There's an option of tools. I'll go to tools. I'll select something called Canvas, and I will ask to generate the PowerPoint presentation of 25 slides ready for the session to be given after half an hour to my Article 20s on standards ranging from 200 series of standards and audit. So not only this, Gemini also helps us to getting the codes, VBA codes on vibe coding, and also in lots of research work. So I'll come back to the outcome which is coming. In the meantime, we'll move to next session, next slides. Cloud, it's about data cleaning, logic validation, the NRV logic. Whenever we are doing any softwares, it helps in that. So Cloud 3.5 is a very good AI app. Perplexity AI. Since Perplexity is an Indian company, it has a very good forensic researcher, helps for a forensic researcher, deep web search for due diligence, related party verification, etc. And identify any negative news on offshore directors associated with entity X in last 24 months. It will go through all the news which are there, whether Google or other browsers, and it will give you an output. And when we're talking about perplexity, we have to talk about Comet. Comet is a wow factor again, AI agent in the ecosystem of AI. It's again given by Perplexity, and Comet is the agent which can help us do wonders. Let's see how Comet helps us do wonders. Let me check. Yes, the screen sharing is still continuing. Just check the slides, and I'll just creating the slides. It will go to my Google slide, and from there you can download as a PowerPoint presentation. The 25 slides are ready to be given as a PowerPoint presentation to your team for a session in your office within minutes, if not seconds, which used to take long time. Now you just have to check that slides and check the contents once before starting the presentation so that you have that confidence that these are the slides. Okay, this is actually the content of SA 200 series, which is there in the slides. So we talked about a browser called Comet. This is the Comet browser. It will open like this. So you go in this browser and you open YouTube. I'm opening a budgets discussion, budget 2025 session. India, I see it. Wait a second. Girish. Yes, detailed analysis of budget 9 months ago.
नमस्कार दोस्तों टैक्स लॉ
So I'll just take this link, or I just stay in this link. There's something called assistant over here. I'll go in assistant and say, summarize this video for me. And it will go through this video, study the video for you, and give you a summary of this video uh, to understand what is there in the video. In the meantime, we'll go to that slides which was generated, open slides, training on SA 200 series, slideshow. This is your slide on SA 200 series, which we created using Gemini. So dismal assurance, report assurance, integrity, objectivity, competence, true but verify, application of relevant training, SA 210, three conditions of an audit, scope, objective, responsibility, reporting framework, 220, the safe team responsibility, the leadership tone at the top, text, acceptance, assignments, direction, supervision, review, 230, the golden rule, audit documentation. If it's not documented, it is not done. Experience auditor test. During audit report date 60 days, that is SQC1 requirement, 7 years requirement of SQC1. SA 240, fraud versus error, incentive, pressure, opportunity, fraud triangle. 250, consideration of laws and regulations. 260, 265, DCWG, dose charge with governance, what to communicate. 299, division of work, joint responsibility, and so on. So a basic presentation was created within seconds in front of you, and that is the power of AI which we use for normal working. And along with that, let's go to our comment. And this is the brief video which we were talking. The specific video was not clear because no link of title was provided. Need video link. Okay. This is video link. So it will summarize this video. In the meantime, we also move away with this and come to Perplexity homepage where we say, I am traveling to Mumbai from Kolkata on 15th Feb 2025. Kindly search early morning flight between 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and give me best flight option which is direct. Give me 5 options and save those in Google Sheets. So this will search the web, go to Google Sheet and save. Sorry, skip. Maybe because I'm not logged in. So it will go to Google Sheet. It will look for various websites and it will search the website and give me all the update in a simple Google Sheet. Just see what it is doing. Going to the website, continue. Searching for website, adding the detail where I want to take the flight from, Kolkata to Mumbai, searching results. Sorry, there aren't any flights that matches your filter. Okay. Direct is not there. One stop is there. Okay. So I'm saying basic use of AI agent browser is there in Comet and which can be seen in your screen. In the meantime, let's go to that budget. How CA should respond, impact on different stakeholders, indirect tax and compliances, direct tax highlights, overall focus. So brief summary of that session is given by Perplexity. So it is going to the website. I'm not touching the laptop myself. It is searching itself, going to various websites and looking for the flight details, and it will save all those details in this. Continue. So that was comment for you all. So Python and fraud, I'll come to Python as a separate section completely after I complete this presentation. No coding required. Asking AI to run a benefit flow analysis on a general ledger CSV identifies artificial transactions patterns in seconds that Excel might miss. So summary, tool metrics, tools which is Notebook LM, regulatory research, effort to learn is very low. Claude 3.5, data cleaning and logic, medium effort. ChatGPT Canvas, report drafting, low. And Python via AI, we'll discuss on those. Now we introduce a very important topic known as vibe coding. We discussed this when we were talking about the audit team of the future, whereby we said that vibe coding will be an important aspect whenever we talk about audit team of the future. Whenever we say who will be your future auditor. So this looks something very dangerous for us. But over here, we are talking about traditional coding versus vibe coding. When we say about vibe coding is we mean by expressing the logic, not the syntax. The auditor tells the system what they want to test, not how to code it, and this keeps the control within the auditor, not the developer. So traditional coding is all about syntax heavy, and vibe coding is about logic driven. Traditional coding is about high developer dependent. Vibe coding is auditor controlled. Traditional coding is about high barrier to entry, and white coding is all about natural language processing. So how to use white coding? Explain the audit logic, tell the AI what you want, validate the calculation, test scenario, and review the AI output. So technology without ethics is a risk amplifier, and ethics is the third and important pillar of today's discussion. Why? Because AI can hallucinate. AI has this hallucination. AI can be biased. It can be skewed training data. Still, lots of LLMs are biased when you have some or other um, images being created. Black box testing, unexplainable decision, why a decision was taken that cannot be explained by AI many a time. And uploading client data on various LLMs is no, no, no. And that is why I say wired coding is an important aspect, and we'll come to that. To the shield professional skepticism, trust the tool, but verify the output because AI is suggestion engine, not a decision maker. AI is about augmenting in audit, not automating the audit. The auditor remains the ultimate fortress of assurance. And the regulatory lens, the future questions from regulators will not be, did you check the sample? It will be, given the available technology, was your audit good enough? Were you able to check 100% of the review because the technology allows that? So practical roadmap for any firm, step one, start with JE Analytics. I'll show you a sample of JE Analytics, how it can be done. Step two, focus high risk areas. Step three, upskill your team. Teach them the basics like Python is being taught in IT training also post March 25, April 25. So Python has to be learned by everyone now. And document the judgment. Why a judgment was taken? Why it was with you? Why it was not thought of? So we should start small, focus on the high risk area, as I said, injury testing, completion testing, frauds, patterns, and we should actually document the judgment clearly. Vivek, what is the myth and reality? The golden truth, no one can replace an auditor's knowledge, judgment, and professional skepticism. And the myth is that AI will replace auditors. As I said with that video in the opening remarks, that auditors using AI will replace those who don't. So, what is the key takeaway of today's session? Have the confidence. Audit is all about confidence, not compliance. AI strengthens skepticism. AI enhances professional skepticism. It doesn't replace it. Humanity, ethics, and judgment keep assurance. Nothing better than professional can give that judgment. So, moving to the Python part, which I kept for the last. When you are working with Python, you can use any Google Colab, Jupyter, Notebook LM, anything which you are familiar with. I'll show today from Visual Studio. I'll just open my folder, desktop, Python Studio. So, we were talking about JE work papers. So, I told about keyword entries. Just see this code. Don't go in the top and bottom of the code. Just go through the code which I was trying to explain. You have a lot of data, the dump of the journal entries, and you have to check the keywords in the narration. So these are the keywords this code will check. That is any narration having word CFO, fraud, theft, bribe, gift, CEO, director. cheat, investigator, kickback, protection, suspense, illegal, fake, fraudulent, embezzlement, write-off, cancelled, arbitration, breach, compromise, ransomware, ransom, cyber attack lightning, phishing, penalty, bounce, default, suggested by auditor as per the notice or order. Once you run this code on a say 50 lakh line item of the journal entries, it will give you those 20 items having this in their narration. Then, as I said, uh, recurring digits, that is the code where you have a recurring digit. Please give me the output. Public holidays. Any entry done on these days, because these days were holiday in the month of, in the calendar year 2025. So whether any entries has been done on this holiday. So when you have a code like this, I'll just give you a small demo of this. I'll run this code. When I run the code, it will ask me, give me the folder where your files are with the dump. So I'll go to my files, JE work paper, suppose liabilities. I'll take sample, not liability, I'll go for expense. I'll take sample expense and enter. So this will give me a file and tell that these are the entries which has been done on holidays. It is showing an error. Give me a second. So, and there is Copilot inbuilt with VS Code. If any error comes, well, just say, just solve this error for me. Because till yesterday I was using lots of codes for various softwares. And it is doing the necessary changes in the codes. That is how web coding works for you, my friends. In the meantime, I'll show you complete JE. It's complete JE testing software. Once you run this software, it will ask you VA testing. Run all the tests, or you just want to know manual journal entries, manual revenue entries, manual consumption entries, or rounded amounts, or entries on weekdays or holidays. If you open, say, weekday or holiday entries, and you go and select 5 folders and run the test, it will give you the output that these are the entries which are done on the weekday or holiday. Done. I'll again go to my J testing. J testing. Just checking the code where it is saved. Yeah, it is there. Oh, folder, desktop, new, okay. This is the output folder, Sunday holiday, desktop, Python, okay. Pens, pens, selection, run, little, J. So these are the entries which has been done on holidays, and we will look and then kindly check. These are the entries which has been done on holidays. This being a factory, so large number of entries has been done on holidays. So this is on 2nd of June. Who has done that entry? What was the amount? It was this entry was done on 3rd of 3/11/24. It was a holiday. So 23 March 2025. So on and so forth. Don't say. Going back to my presentation. So friends, remember nothing or no one can replace an auditor's knowledge, judgment, exercise of professional skepticism. And auditor is no longer about checking numbers, it's about understanding the behavior behind the numbers. So you may connect with me on LinkedIn, and if any question, open to the questions. Over to the moderator. If any questions, we can take those. Anyone having any questions? Or tech team? Tech team, are you there? Yeah.
We are thankful to our today's speaker, CA Vivek Agrawal, for deliberating on various aspects on that one is skills enrichment. We are thankful to each and everyone present over here to witness this today's webcast. We expect that each and everyone being present over here has gotten the great benefit in watching this live webcast. With this, we are thankful to each and everyone over here. With this, we are just putting it that one as end to this webcast. And we request to CA Bhavi Thakkar to put it the concluding remarks for this live webcast.
Yes, sir. We will wait for a minute or so to check if there are any questions regarding the webcast that we have taken.
Sure.
So we'll be just waiting for a 1 or 2 minutes.
Ma'am,
Yeah, yeah.
if you have any query, you can ask to him right now.
Yeah.
There is that one is there is no question as of now, so that you
Okay.
can ask the question.
Yes.
Ma'am, you just put it your concluding remarks.
Okay, sir. So, sir, we had a very good session on the Audit Reimagined AI assisted assurance powered by digital, analytical, and ethical skills. So it was an honor to be a part of this webcast. Vivek sir had explained us so many things on the AI driven digital and analytical skills that are required for the future auditors. And sir, it was wonderful to listen to you on so many new things that have been coming up in the future. And we are glad to see that now and auditors are also going up with their digital driven data more and more and more new members are also joining in the AI related topics and subjects which the ICAI is hosting on the different CPE portals as well as on the other platforms. So, on behalf of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee ICAI, I am so thankful to you, sir, for bringing us such a new thing into the details and which helps us to understand how this thing is going to be very helpful in the future. It was really an enlightening session. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizers of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee ICAI, our today's speaker CA Vivek Agrawal ji, and all the stakeholders who made this webcast a memorable one. Finally, and not the least, I would like to thank Dr. Shambit Kumar Sarji, his technical team, and everyone who was present here in this webcast to make this a grand success. It was a nice hearing, sir, you, and looking forward to see you again on this platform. Signing off as CA Bhavi Thakkar. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day and a great day ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.